Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack open the playbook for getting your brand recommended by AI.
So let's kick things off with this really powerful idea. For years, the whole game was about ranking #1 on Google, that getting an AI recommendation is the new gold standard. And why is that? Well, because it's not just another click on a link. It comes at the end of a conversation. It's like getting a trusted endorsement.
So how do we actually get there? Well, we're going to walk through this 5-part playbook. First, we'll get a handle on the new landscape, then we'll bust some common myths, we'll audit where you are right now, and then we'll dive into the real nitty-gritty on-site and off-site strategies.
Okay, so let's dive into Section 1. What really makes an AI recommendation so much more valuable than a top search link? Well, it really boils down to two things: trust and engagement.
And look, the data here tells a really compelling story. Research shows that leads that come from AI recommendations have dramatically higher conversion and engagement rates. And it totally makes sense, right? When you're having a back-and-forth conversation with an AI, you're building a bit of trust. A recommendation at the end of that journey is way more powerful than just another blue link on a page.
All right, before we jump into the how-to, we've got to clear the air a little bit. There's a ton of noise and confusion out there about AI search. So let's tackle the 3 biggest myths right now.
Okay, myth number 1. Traditional SEO is not dead. Not even close. In fact, these AIs are leaning on those same signals of authority. Second, you can't just set your content creation on autopilot. Quality and real expertise, they still need a human touch. And finally, and this is a big one, if anyone ever promises to guarantee you an AI ranking, run. Seriously, it's a black box just like Google always was, and nobody can fully control it.
Okay, let's get into our first actionable phase, the AI audit. You can't improve what you don't measure, right? So you've got to know where you stand right now. This is all about getting your baseline.
And you know what? The process is actually pretty straightforward. You're going to start by just doing a manual check yourself, get a feel for it. Then you ask one crucial follow-up question. And after that, you can bring in some automated tools to keep an eye on things at scale.
All right, time to roll up your sleeves. You're literally going to go to ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, whatever your tool of choice is, and just start asking these simple but really revealing questions. The answers you get back, well, they're going to be the foundation for your entire strategy.
Okay, now this is the real secret sauce right here. If you ask for a recommendation and it lists all your competitors but leaves you out, asking why not is a game changer. It forces the AI to explain its reasoning. It might say something about a lack of recent articles or that your product descriptions are unclear. That feedback, that's not just helpful, that's your roadmap.
Look, doing those manual checks is a fantastic start, but let's be real, you can't do it every single day. That's where these specialized tools come in. They're key to scaling this whole process. They work for you 24/7, tracking mentions, figuring out what sources the AIs are using, and just giving you a constant pulse on your brand's presence in AI. Okay, so you've done your audit. You've got your baseline. Now, let's move on to phase 2, optimizing your own website. This is where you take all those insights and start to actively shape the story the AI tells about you.
And honestly, they all boil down to one simple idea. Just make it ridiculously easy for an AI to understand what you're all about. So that means things like turning your headings into questions, adding a little TLDR summary box for a quick takeaway, using simple, jargon-free language, and using things like schema markup to basically spoon-feed the information to the bots.
And here's a pro tip, a really crucial connection that a lot of people miss. Remember, OpenAI and Microsoft are partners, which means ChatGPT is very likely using Bing for its web searches. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. Don't sleep on Bing. Registering your site there is like a direct line to boosting your visibility inside ChatGPT. All right, let's bring it home with the third and final phase, because it's not enough to just have a great website. You've got to build this web of authority that extends across the entire internet. And your offsite strategy? It can't be a one-size-fits-all approach. You have to adapt. So on a platform like LinkedIn, you can be pretty direct. Publish thought leadership, be the expert. The AIs can easily scrape that. But try that on Reddit or Quora, it'll totally backfire. Over there, it's not about promoting yourself. It's about joining real, unbiased conversations. So at the end of the day, the goal is to weave this web of authority signals all around your brand. This means writing fair, objective comparisons with your competitors, getting mentioned in the media, republishing your best stuff on places like Medium, and just showing up and being a helpful, active voice wherever your audience hangs out.
So you put all that together, the on-site stuff, the off-site stuff, and what do you get? You get ASO, AI Search Optimization. And it's not just one little trick, right? It's a whole holistic strategy for shaping how AI sees and talks about your brand.
And that really leaves us with one big question. In this new world, where millions of people are turning to AI as a kind of trusted advisor, you have to ask yourself, is your brand story being written by you or for you? Because taking control of that narrative, it's not just a nice to have anymore. It's absolutely essential if you want to survive and grow.